Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is KARQ. Welcome back to another episode of KARQ'S Reviews Fan Edition for the off-season. To get your gameplay potentially reviewed by me, make sure to submit it via Twitter using the hashtag KARQ'S Reviews. Leave your replay code, your in-game name, and your rank, and maybe I'll take a look at it. Let's get today's episode started. Submitted by EM Burst, this might be the first Zen gameplay on KARQ'S Reviews because he wasn't really meta for a while until Double Shield came back alongside with Baptiste. Now in this game, EM Burst mentioned on Twitter that they would be playing alongside Brig the whole time. Now, Brig Zen isn't particularly great in a non-coordinated setting. We did see it in the Overwatch League at one point during hero pools back in the day, but the biggest weakness that people may see instantly is a lack of heals. Typically, you want to run Brig Zen with heroes that are a bit more self-sufficient, like Tracer, who can blick around health packs, or Soldier, who has a healing pad, alongside maybe some dive tanks like Winston and D.Va. Basically, you just can't take too much poke damage or sit at a choke with Brig Zen. You have to pick a target and go. Twiddling your thumbs makes this comp lose value fast because there isn't enough healing to sustain any sort of poking in your team. So, yeah, your team isn't quite built for the support lineup, but this isn't the Overwatch League. This is gold on console. Anything can work if you're just better, and enemies are also in turn not equipped with fully taking advantage of poor composition, so let's roll with it. Now up the stairs you go. You're going to charge a couple secondary fires, I guess. This is what I mean. You're kind of just chilling and sitting at the choke for a bit. Drop a healing orb. You're on an interesting off angle. You can just poke with your secondary fire. They're not really going to chase you up the stairs because the rest of your team is up on the right, but you can see the lack of heals coming in play right now. You can't even orb anybody at this point. So Brig is your only healer if you think about it, but that's okay. Just keep poking. Charge those secondary fires. You need to come on out here. Your Roadhog already died. You either get an orb on somebody, but found a Discord onto the Sigma. See, the enemy is just making a lot of mistakes as well, so it's a 5v5 right now. Okay. Never mind, your Zarya's dead. You have no tank lineup. You're just gonna have to wait for a bit. That's good. I like how you're charging your secondary fires and poking in between. Try to charge them at a line of sight for a bit. And that enemy, Zenyatta, has a very fast Transcendence. I think he farmed it off your tanks, but your Roadhog gets a pick to start off, and they're gonna have to back off right now, so good pressure here. Get the orb on them. You see that Baptiste in the high ground in the distance. Try to poke him out with your secondary fire if possible. Just even a single shot to force him down on low ground can make a world of difference and help your team. Your Ash one up on the high ground, gets killed by the Reinhardt. But you're here, you force him down. That's okay. Everyone's kind of just doing their own thing. Coordination is a little tough, but yeah, right now I think what you should be doing is definitely looking up and shooting that Baptiste a little bit. You kind of weren't sure where he was, and he just whittled you down without any sort of reaction. You're gonna have to reset here. All right, we'll skip ahead to the next team fight. The enemy Sigma goes for an ultimate but completely whiffs. You see that Baptiste up on the high ground. I need you to force him out. Good Discord there. Shoot him once. That's all it takes. Almost killed him. Puts him back down. The enemy Zenyatta puts out a Transcendence. Even though you're down one and you lost both your DPS, you can probably still win because your Zarya is fully charged and she has her ultimate available. Hopefully she recognizes the opportunity right now. High charge, double off tank is still a lot of potent power. And you have your Transcendence right now to keep him healthy if needed. Enemy Bap whips out his ultimate. Your Zarya does go for the grab. Your DPS are already back. Your Mei and your Reaper. I think you could have transcended there to kind of keep your Zarya alive. She's fully charged. She can solo carry this. Don't tunnel vision and stare at this McCree for too long. You're going to get shot from the back. And don't get that close. He can just drop down, flash you. And I love how you're changing places now that you heard him drop. I think you guys are going to win this regardless just by sheer numbers, but it wasn't as clean as it could have been. I think you guys could have benefited from, or you especially as Zenyatta, benefited from going up the stairs, chilling on the high ground here, and then shooting the McCree from up top. What this area does is it doesn't allow the enemy to contest you because you're already at like a 4 versus 1 advantage. All the enemy is going to do is come back and try to stall the point. You're going to be unchecked and you can shoot for free up on the high ground here. And you can get Discords off, you can still harmony someone, and you have a good line of sight on the entire battlefield. So that would have been the better play. Skipping ahead, I'm going to go into this team fight here. The enemy Zen picks off your Brig, but that's okay. You're coming out and getting some juicy shots onto their Zen. Get a kill back. Your Reaper's going for the Reinhardt as well, and he's dead. Now all you're doing is cleaning up. This is solid. Now, during downtime on any hero, you want to recontrol the high ground. So go up the elevator. Perfect. We're on the same page here. You can finish off this Pharah. Nice shots. Now, stay up here as long as you can. The enemy team is going to want to come out and stall the point. For the most part, you should remain unchecked up here. Do not, by any reason, drop down unless absolutely necessary. So, you're in a great position, and it went down to like a half-decent position. This is not bad, but ideally you want to stay up there as long as you can, because now you're in Sigma's range. He does whittle you down a bit, but despite the Baptiste killing 2, he actually might get more, because now he's unchecked above the jail. Do you see that? Now he's going to kill you as well. This Baptiste killed 3. I think you guys are still going to win this just by sheer numbers and the advantage, but that Baptiste should not have gotten away with that much. Now, if you were on the high ground the entire time, positional pressure, no matter what hero you're on, is so important. If you stayed up there, that Baptiste would not have been able to stay on top of jail, because you would have discorded him and you would have pressured and shot him down. Then he gets less value, and then you guys can win that team fight a bit more cleanly. Instead of you losing 3, maybe you guys win that completely 6 kills and nobody in your team dies, and that helps your team's ultimate economy a lot. No matter how appealing it is to drop down and get closer shots on Zenyatta, especially just to confirm kills, it's also equally as important to hold your ground and hold that position just to prevent enemies from getting as much value. Anyways, let's skip over to this fight. You guys have a bunch of kills. Be careful of that Baptiste window. Dry peeking this is still dangerous. I heard the high noon behind you. You have to pop Transcendence in reaction to that. I'm not sure if you're wearing headphones, but those are some of the instincts you have to build up. As soon as I heard that high noon, I was about to say you need to pop that Transcendence and walk in his face to hopefully body block the rest of the shots, because that's pretty important. But that's all right. Coming out here, charging those secondary fires. I like that. Instead of shooting primary fires like this, it's actually harder to land, 4 or 5 straight shots in a row to potentially kill someone. It's actually much better value, especially during downtime like this, where you know you're lost a bunch and you're just poking. To just use secondary fires for the 5 orbs, you have a lot higher burst potential and kill potential with that as compared to single fire shots. Single fire shots are good when there's an active team fight already happening and you can't break line of sight and charge your orbs. But in instances like those, the whole point of the secondary fires is, of course, getting those instantaneous picks. So as you wait for your team to come out, yeah, good secondary fires there, pressuring that Tracer. Looks like you might be able to kill her. Pop the Transcendence because you got hit by the, the Junkrat. This is fine. Keep yourself alive. You have a bunch of ults going down. You kill 4. Good Discord. Keep shooting him. Okay. Maybe just a little bit of lag. Alright, so right now, you know the team might come back and contest. You actually want to step back a little bit right now instead of being on the point, because this puts you in range of what? Their Junkrat, that Tire could potentially kill you, that Tracer can burst you, the Lucio's on point. Play a little further back around here, or even a few steps back as well, closer to the Mega Health Pack in the back. You'll still be able to contribute to the fight because Zen has no damage drop off. You can still orb, Harmony Orb, Discord targets, and shoot. So you're in a good spot now, but you know, like 20 seconds ago when you're right beside that Junkrat Tire, I feared for your life, but your team is killing out the enemies. Big ultimate by your Reaper. You have to orb them. That's tough. You might still have it though. Your Brig is back. Your Mei is alive. I think if your Brig is alive, you still win this. Potentially. Hey, let's go. Alright, coming out of defense. A little late. Just because I think you're AFK at the beginning. Let's rewind for a second. I was going to say, I really think before the enemies come out, you should come into the security room and fire your orbs down that sight line for some early ultimate charge. The faster you can build your Transcendence, the better. See this angle right here? Charge your 5 orbs before the round starts and fire them as soon as the countdown goes down. 3, 2, 1. See right now, if you let go of the orbs, look at this direct line of sight right here. Might be able to hit 5 orbs straight onto that Roadhog or potentially get a pick on that Baptiste, right? You can see that far. As long as they don't have a Widow, you don't really have a threat of dying if you do that. And then, even better after that, is once they move up from their attacker spawn, even if you don't kill anybody, they usually end up right below that blue car as a secondary sight line. So you can charge 5 orbs at the beginning there, and then 5 orbs underneath this car, and potentially be like, what, 20 to 30% to your Transcendence if you land all the orbs, which is very helpful, and it whittles the enemy down. So if you look at that sight line underneath that blue car, you can see As soon as they walk out the choke, they either go to the left of this blue car or to the right. And if they go to the right, they'll definitely be eating your orbs. See, I'm just gonna push it down a bit. Look at that sight line right there. And I can tell you, if I play right now, if you charge those orbs and fired, boom, you would have hit 2 of them. Any sort of little bit counts. But regardless, we're gonna play the clip. Doomfist misses you. You guys are just gonna kill a bunch of them. Good discord onto the hog. Now this tracer is jumping you from the left, and there's a lot of things you can do here in a tracer 1v1, especially regarding your movement to help your survivability. Okay, this one might take a little bit to explain, so we'll rewind a bit. So you see this tracer coming out towards your left, and you kind of just back up. The instinct whenever a person gets shot at in Overwatch is to just run backwards, but you have to think about it from the tracer's perspective. What does she see when she jumps you from the left side or from the side, right? If you are moving backwards, all tracers to do is move along with you and just track you in one direction. Now, in general, when you play Overwatch, they always teach you to strafe left, right, right? A little bit of AD, AD, AD. So when looking from the front on view, if you AD, AD, you can see my mouse, it looks like that on their screen. But because Tracer's coming at you from the side, if you're left, righting from that angle, from where Tracer's looking, you're kind of just sitting still. So you kind of have to replicate or mimic that sort of movement when you get shot on the left side. So your indicator shows Tracer's coming on the left. What you want to do is press WS, forward, back. See how I'm moving the camera forward, back. And that's the closest thing to simulating an AD, especially while you're reloading and you can't fight her back right away. So here's what it would look like from her perspective. If you're WSing, forward backing, on Tracer's POV, this is what it would look like. She would see you, you're moving, back and forth. This is just one of those instincts you have to build up. So I'll rewind it. See that Tracer on the left side? Instead of turning at her and jumping and just moving into her advantage with her crosshairs, add that sort of movement response to getting jumped by flankers, especially playing a Zen, and you'll survive a bit longer. And any death you can prevent on Zen, it snowballs significantly, right? If you were alive right there, like a Tracer couldn't get the clip off and she recalls and gets out because your team turned around to help you out, you'd be alive right now, you'd be poking the enemies at the choke as they're coming, and instead of being, 23% to your ultimate, you might be at 40, 45. That discord, getting those extra picks, it goes a long way. Each death, takes you out of the game or takes you out of the fight for 10 plus seconds for the respawn, almost 8 to 10 more seconds to walk all the way back, and look at all that damage you could have been inflicting onto the enemy, right? The reason why some players just build their ultimates so much faster isn't because they're necessarily more mechanically gifted in their aim, it's just because they survive a little bit longer, one less death per game. Now you peeked wide into that security. That's a little dangerous. If I were ever to peek and poke from that distance, I'd probably do it a few steps back so you're out of range of a Roadhog hook and out of range of most enemies. You're a little close. The Moira is able to jump out and harass you a bit. A little risky, but you survive nonetheless. You want to see how far you can push your limits, no matter what rank you are. So good discord onto that Doomfist, who ends up dying. Now you're dueling this Tracer. Nice. You end up winning. A little bit more strafing would be ideal in the left-right direction instead of trying to walk directly into her, which, again, puts her at the advantage again. Tracers, if they duel a Zen, they should win 90% of the time if the Zen isn't looking. If you can catch the Tracer before she gets to you, it actually turns into a 50-50 skill duel. Because a discord and one single orb forces the recall, and she might have to get out if she doesn't successfully get the one clip. Alright, so you should fire those secondary orbs right there into the choke, build up that ultimate charge. This is good. You guys kill the Doomfist. Pretty good so far. Keep poking them. Be careful of that Baptiste firing at you through the window. It still hurts. But it looks like you guys are doing a lot of work here. There's a Graviton. You got the discord off. You got to reload. Oh, no. That's all right. You guys kill 6. This is good. So as you wait for the respawns, a little orb. Honestly, I might reposition here either to the top left cafe or top right. Or sorry, top left balcony or top right cafe. They get the ultimate off. You have to transcend that. They just sig fluxed your team. A little late on the transcendence. I think as you climb, teams might be able to capitalize and kill them right away, and unfortunately, their Tracer gets a good stick. A little slow on the Transcendence there in that particular fight, but you guys still have the advantage and you're wasting a lot of time, so this is, you know, despite you losing 2, this is probably going to be a lost fight no matter what happens at this point, just because the enemy team has way closer respawn, so just do whatever damage you can on your way out. Die on the cart. Just die now, just die now. Don't waste any more time, that's fine. And big reset here coming up. So as we skip along and you come out for your next life, looks like your Reaper kills their Moira, and you're coming out really aggressively onto the cart. Now, I don't particularly like this angle per se, because once your team rounds the corner to the left, you actually lose line of sight. What I would do is I would move over towards this little haystack, because you can jump up it and then you'd go up on that little second floor balcony. All you do is jump there, jump there, jump there, and you can make it up to this little ledge. Then you wrap around the corner, and then this angle will allow you to peek a little bit wider. You can still shoot. You can see all those enemies right here. Perfect line of sight as compared to the position you're at on the payload, right? So we're going to play this thing out. You see that Tracer? She kind of blinked over it. You definitely heard her. And you and your Ashe are here. Just stay with your Ashe. You're kind of separating from her at this point, giving her a potential 1v1 to drop on you. Just stick close to her and you should be fine. Your Ashe is moving up to try to contribute to your Reaper. Just play with her. That's literally it. Don't let her take individual 1v1s here. And now you're what? Your Winston's in the back coming out of spawn. This Tracer is going to pull a lot of attention. I know you're calling it out for your team. Alright, and your team is dying in the back because your Ashe decided to come back for you because potentially you called her out to come help you. But I really think you should have moved up with her because now your team is left out to dry and then they die up here. Honestly, they shouldn't have been this far to begin with. But because they heard the Tracer and the Ashe noticed you were far away, she came back while your team was out there. And if you think about it, the Tracer's position pulled 2 of you, if not 3, because your Winston just respawned onto you and left the Tracer's team to deal with your team 5 versus 3. One Tracer pulled the attention of 3, and that's the kind of threat and attention you want to be doing as a DPS. I know this is a Zen VOD review, but just think of the implications of how positioning works. And I remember I told you earlier how your Zen position on the high ground can do something like that as well. Not to the same extent, but just trying to explain how far it can go. But then now, you know, the enemy team comes up and catches up and kills you. So I'm going to skip along to one of the last few fights on third point. You're coming out of spawn, poking the enemy from here, get that Discord off, pressure the shield. Be careful of shooting in the open like this. You kind of want to hover to the right, I would say, up the stairs. Get a little bit of cover, but they kill 2, so you're going to have to naturally back off a little bit. All right, that Tracer's coming in for the 1v1. As soon as she recalls right there, you should be charging a secondary fire. You have enough time during a recall to get about 2 orbs off to charge. And 2 orbs, you know, double headshot into a melee is enough to kill her. And I think you had 1 ammo left. Let me rewind and check really quickly. Yeah, so you die there, rewind. Let's take a look. You see her coming along. You want to charge that secondary fire. I think double headshot is what? Isn't it 46 base damage right now without a Discord? It's tough because when she recalls, Discord would be off. So disregarding the Discord, headshot would be what? 92 damage. 2 headshots is enough to kill her, or a headshot, body shot, melee. You know, and you definitely did have 1 ammo left as we look right now. I'm hovering over it right now. So 1 ammo left. That's just the way Zenyatta works and how Overwatch works in general on heroes that have some sort of charge, like Zarya with 1 ammo left or Mei with 1 ammo. You're still able to get off the a full secondary fire, so you can still charge 5 orbs despite having 1 in the chamber. As that Tracer comes out, that's for next time in the 1v1 tip. And as you come on out, you're playing very, very far at this point. Your team is actually fighting beyond the choke. So what you want to do is actually move up because you can't really get in range to Harmony Orb or Discord based on where you're starting your positioning. Like this position is fine when the payload's closer to the choke point because the team fight would be clashing around here. But because your team is around the corner, this position is no longer good. And that's the thing about positioning in Overwatch. Position can be good in one instance and kind of garbage in the next instance, so you have to kind of adapt and be ready. So what you want to do is move up around this box. We'll still put you in range to Harmony, Discord, and contribute to the fight. You have no fall off damage as Zen. You can peek around this box, get the long angle, and you have a mini health pack to fall back into for a bit of healing, because it looks like that Brig won't be able to turn around and pack you in time. So that would be better. And I've already told you about the implications of your positioning, the threat, the attention it draws. So this will be a bit tough, but you guys have a Rally, and Rally is one of the best ultimates in the game, and I think you guys grabbed, and you have the Mei ult going. I think regardless, you're going to win, but in general, you know, pretty solid Zen gameplay. Definitely some parts to clean up, but think about trying to live, especially against those tracers. Different ways to survive, the implications of that, the positions, and you're golden. Hopefully you keep climbing. Thanks for submitting. And that's it for me. Make sure to subscribe to the channel up here and watch the other episodes of the coaching series down here.